Sensational in Formula One. Red Bull has just shaken the racing world with a shocking decision. Liam Lawson is out of the main team, and in his place comes Yuki Tsunoda. The news exploded like a bomb and is making fans and experts discuss. But what is behind this sudden move? Why did Red Bull decide to dump Lawson after just 2 races? And above all, how did the young New Zealander react, who apparently hadn't even been notified of the decision? Get ready, because what you're about to discover will change the way you look at Red Bull and its decisions. Rumors of a possible driver change had already started circulating in the Shanghai paddock on Sunday evening, but no one expected it to happen so quickly. On Monday morning, Dutch journalist Jackie Martens of the Limburger published the exclusive. Tsunoda promoted, Lawson demoted to Racing Bulls. But the most absurd thing is that Lawson himself knew nothing about it. He found out the news like the rest of us through the newspapers. A very hard blow for a young driver who had hoped to earn a place in the main team after years of hard work. But why this choice? To understand it, we must look beyond the simple results on the track. Lawson, in the 2 races he has run with Red Bull, 3 if we count the sprint, has not collected a single point. This, for a team that wants to fight for the constructors' title, is a huge problem. Red Bull cannot afford to have a competitive car but a second driver who does not bring points. And here comes into play a determining factor: Honda. The Japanese company, which supplies engines to Red Bull and Racing Bulls, has a huge influence on the team's choices. Honda already pays €10 million a year to guarantee Tsunoda a seat in Formula One with Racing Bulls. Last year, they even offered another $10 million to Red Bull to promote Yuki to the main team, but the team refused, preferring to give a chance to Lawson. But with the New Zealander struggling and points lacking, Red Bull went back to Honda asking, "If we promote Tsunoda, are you willing to pay more?" The answer was yes, with an offer said to have reached $20 million in total. But there was one more condition. The change had to happen immediately, in time for the Japanese Grand Prix. This is because for Honda, it would have been a huge marketing operation. A Japanese driver in the main Red Bull team, announced right at the home race. A media opportunity too good to pass up. So, within hours, the decision was made: Lawson out, Tsunoda in. But there's more. The Wednesday before the race, a promotional event is scheduled in Tokyo with all 4 Red Bull and Racing Bulls drivers. And it will be the first time we've seen Tsunoda in the blue of Red Bull and Lawson back in the white of Racing Bulls. Such a quick and drastic seat swap is something extremely rare in Formula One, and above all, it happened without the demoted driver knowing about it in advance. The question now is, how will Lawson react to this decision? For a young driver, being promoted to Red Bull is a dream. But being demoted so quickly can be devastating. Some think that, given his difficulties on the track, he might even feel relieved from the pressure. But there is also another possibility. What if in the end it was him, with the Racing Bulls, who beat Tsunoda on the track? It would be a resounding revenge. And here's a point that no one is considering enough. The second Red Bull is a very difficult car to drive. We know this from the many drivers who have tried to match Verstappen in recent years and have failed. Gasly, Albon, Perez, all have struggled to tame it. And what if the problem is not Lawson, but the car? Tsunoda could also find himself in trouble, and if he fails to achieve better results than Lawson, Red Bull will have failed. The situation is even more chaotic considering that Red Bull now has to reorganize everything at the last minute. They will have to update the promotional material, change the signage in the pits, redo the drivers' uniforms, update the official programs of the Japanese Grand Prix. In short, a logistical disaster that no one had foreseen. Not to mention the awkward moment Lawson will have to face on Thursday, when he enters the paddock for the first time since the news broke. With the press all over him and the cameras ready to capture his every reaction, it will be a painful entrance for the young New Zealander. This story also raises another big question. What is happening inside Red Bull? First the Horner case, now this sudden change. It seems like there is a lot of tension and hasty decisions in the team. Daniel Ricciardo knows this too. Last year, after his accident in Singapore, he was replaced by Lawson, And now the situation has reversed again. In short, at Red Bull, they don't hesitate to change drivers like pawns in a chess game. But who really benefits from this change? Honda, for sure, who gets what they wanted. A Japanese driver in Red Bull at their home GP. Tsunoda gets a promotion that could turn his career around. Red Bull gets another major funding. But Lawson loses everything, or almost everything. He will have another chance at racing bulls, but his dream of driving for the main team could be gone forever. In the meantime, there is someone who is watching this whole situation with great interest. Zach Brown and McLaren. This internal instability of Red Bull could be an advantage for the opponents. A team that changes drivers so quickly shows signs of weakness, and this could open new opportunities for other teams. And then there's another person who is probably enjoying the scene, Sergio Perez. The Mexican, who has often been criticized for his inconsistent performances, can now say, "See, it's not just my fault. That car is a nightmare to drive."
Formula One is a ruthless sport, and this story proves it more than ever. Young drivers have very little time to prove themselves, and if they don't convince immediately, they are unceremoniously sidelined. But beware, if Tsunoda fails to achieve better results than Lawson, Red Bull could find itself in an even more complicated situation.
Now the ball is in the track's court. Suzuka will be Yuki's first test in Red Bull. Will he be up to the task, or will this move prove to be a colossal mistake? We'll find out soon. And you, what do you think? Did Red Bull do well, or did they make a mistake? Write it in the comments. If you liked the video, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell to not miss any updates. See you in the next video.